There's a caustic sensation in your throat. But this isn't a cold. Then comes the headache, barely perceptible, a low-voltage hum behind the eyes, a persistent reminder that something's gone haywire. You're in the chair, looking at the screen, trying to do something simple. You're trying to link one account to another, a digital handshake that should take 3 seconds, and then, undefined error. Not incorrect password, not server down, undefined. Your worldview collapses. The entire universe shrinks down to a single tyrannical refusal. You call customer support. While you're on hold, you organize your notes on who might give you a job in an industry that is currently dissolving into mist. And the recent encouraging details haven't been synced. And it turns out no one is available to answer your call today. Call back again some other time. You feel it then. The sudden urge to obliterate the keyboard or anything else within a small radius. You almost believe that the laws of physics have been suspended to taunt you, that nothing works, that reality itself is beyond repair. You know objectively that this is a minor inconvenience, but your mind and body are reacting like you're being hunted for sport. What is happening here? You're suffering from a mechanical failure of the cognitive lens. We can call this zoom lock. The mind's zoom lens is designed to oscillate. In the ancestral environment, you would have needed macro mode to extract a thorn from your foot, intense focus on the crisis right in front of your face. But you would have also needed the ability to immediately switch to wide angle, to scan the horizon for predators, to see the weather turning, to understand your situation. The modern environment is often composed entirely of macro stimuli. The phone screen, the products designed not to last, the labyrinth of security, the program your job relies on that routinely fails. As a result, your lens can easily jam in the extreme macro position. When you're stuck in extreme macro, you lose the context of scale. To a microscope, a grain of salt looks like a mountain. To a mind with zoom lock, an undefined error message looks like a threat to your survival. This is a biological maladaptation. The cortisol flooding your system when you see undefined error is the exact same chemical cocktail your ancestors experienced when they were cornered by a wolf. Your body is mobilizing for a lethal encounter, but the enemy is code. There's nowhere to run. There's no one to fight. So the combat turns inward. It constricts your throat. It pressurizes your skull. The energy has no outlet. You aren't powering anything. You're just melting the wires. The evidence of this malfunction is scattered around your feet. Look at the floor. The cables under your desk show signs of multi-dimensional spaghettification. HDMI, USB-C, Lightning, and something proprietary that goes to a camera you haven't used since 2014. They're entangled in a topology that defies mathematics. Normally you don't think about them, but right now they look like a failure of character. And there, under the desk, the Uno card. You've played Uno maybe 4 times in your entire life. It fell 3 weeks ago. You see it every time you sit down. You could pick it up. It would take 4 seconds, but you refuse. You don't even remember why you started refusing. You stare at the green reverse card and you feel a profound, stubborn paralysis. To pick it up would be to admit that you live here, that you're responsible for this entropy. Leaving it there has become a protest. And then, the box, the plastic box of holiday decorations. The holiday passed months ago. The season has turned, but the box remains. A monument to procrastination. It sits in your peripheral vision, radiating judgment. But the true totem of your despair is the tool, the hex key. Is it an Allen wrench, an Allen key? The nomenclature itself is a source of rage. You have 30 of them. They are scattered in drawers, in pen holders, supposedly ready for strategic deployment. And yet, when you need to tighten the screw on the chair, you can't find the one that fits. This is the zoom lock made physical. You're feeling mocked by the objects you refuse to organize. connecting accounts that don't link, searching for jobs in an industry that's vanishing, holding a wrench that doesn't fit the hole. Living this way is exhausting. Because when you're Zoom locked, every problem feels like a crisis, and every new crisis buries you deeper. You are doom scrolling for news on consolidation in your industry because your mind wants to predict the predator's movement. You are over-updating your networking spreadsheet, grasping at the possibility that this administrative ritual will bring safety, and the big picture is not available. It makes you want to throw things because you're a creature who thrives on agency, navigating a society where the pathways you like are narrowing. You're grieving the loss of a sane world. The world where if you work hard and get results, you have a good job. Where if you have the right tool, the screw turns. You're mourning the apparent demise of reliable cause and effect. And so you sit there, throat sore, head throbbing, staring at disorganization, unable to broker a digital handshake, feeling like the captain of a sinking ship. What can we do? Astronauts speak of the overview effect, the psychological shift that happens in space when actually seeing Earth for what it really is. A spinning rock with an atmosphere and fragile biodiversity in an incomprehensibly vast expanse. It's a cosmic recalibration. We occupy a tiny speck of matter. From that extreme wide angle, Earth's boundaries fall away. Global interconnectedness is apparent. To harness our own overview effect, without the benefit of rocket boosters, we can look at how an astronaut survives a crisis. When a master alarm flashes in the cockpit, when the oxygen tank ruptures or the thruster fails, the astronaut does not panic. Astronauts that live don't smash the dashboard. They immediately switch mental modes. They stop flying and start monitoring. They switch to telemetry. This is how we break Zoom lock. We stop operating in pilot mode, where we try to feel the ship, where we treat the undefined error as a failure of our own steering, and switch to telemetry mode. Unlike an astronaut, we can foster a willingness for the mental shift by taking a silent walk. When we return, we read the data. When we switch to telemetry, we stop trying to impose our will on the machine and just observe. The undefined error is a status indicator, not a rebuke. It's a neutral string of code at a logic gate it can't parse. By viewing it as raw data, we detach our nervous system from the result. We initiate a hard reboot of the emotional drive. Look at the cables. While piloting, they symbolize a disorganized mind. In telemetry mode, they're copper and some kind of shielding. They're useful materials obeying the laws of physics. Their layout just needs to be simplified. We don't need the one from 2014. We're reducing drag on the chassis. Now the hex key. The rage we felt earlier was because we were trying to force a connection. We were demanding that the tool fit the world we wanted, rather than the world that is. In telemetry mode, we know that with an absurdly huge range of sizes, combined with a huge range of products that don't share standardized size protocols, we're bound to guess wrong a lot. The hex key is 0.5 millimeters too small. That's a fact, not a tragedy. The Uno card, a reverse icon mocking our inability to govern our own space. What started as an amusing game of how long can I not do this has turned into a self-defeating symbol of our fictional ineffectiveness. It has outlived the amusement to become an excuse to believe we can't do what we need to do. But we can. We can let go of that story now. Same with the holiday box. Now we're ready to tackle the underlying issue. The reason your nerves were so frayed to begin with, the loss of oxygen in the job market. In telemetry mode, we know that panic wastes time and burns our oxygen reserves faster. Staying calm, focused on observable facts, identifying and executing the necessary steps, that's how you repair the ship. The headache recedes, even though the accounts still aren't linking, because we've stopped flailing indulgently. We're moving through the wreckage of the day, but we're no longer part of that wreckage. We're the operator observing the system, exercising the opportunity to make tiny calculated motions. We've brought the black sky perspective down to the carpet. The gravity is still strong, and the tools are still dull, but we're finally at the window of the capsule. We can see that our world is a single contained system, and from this angle, the problem looks small enough to handle.